everyone. You guys are hanging out with none other than the famous celebrity CEO himself, Ramon Ray. And if you have yet to meet him, first off, you need to go to his social media so you can contain some of his energy in a bottle. It's going to sell for millions here as an NFT somehow, some way.
I'll take that, Tamra. I'll take that.
So good, brother. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Tamra. It's good to hang with you, get to know you better, to serve your audience. And I follow a list of amazing people who've been here with you. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's really great because I was previously on Ramon's podcast, the Smart Hustle podcast. He's also an author of several books, but I said the celebrity CEO because that is one of his most recent. And I have the pleasure of having a signed copy myself. And his story is incredible. It's something that I aspire to on many levels and am also gleaning and learning from on the regular. And most recently, he took on a new title as a Dear Armor Bearer to moi at the Grow Your Business for God's Sake conference that just took place in Kentucky in November. And so I am grateful to him in many layers and levels and excited to learn from you still today.
Oh, I'm excited to share, and I think it's amazing. That new title was new for me. I called it something else. I'm not going to even say what I called it. I like Armor Bearer much better. And I think, Tamra, you or God brought the armor bearer out. It's something I've always wanted to do, be a hotel bellman or the person who greets you at the door with your luggage or something. And I always want to do something like that. So this is where I had 72 hours or 48 hours of doing it. It was awesome.
Yeah, and he came in this really just like servant heart, and it was just like, hey, if you need help with your social media, I know you're going to be really busy behind the curtain. I'll just take pictures. I'll go live from your phone. And that is like an influencer's dream. He clearly knows what we need and what we want. And that's not only because that's a role you play, but it's also a role that you've watched transpire in the need of an entrepreneur. And so I want to hear about like, where did Smart Hustle evolve? Because I know you've had several businesses and even sold some. Let's talk about your backstory to how you are, who you are, and how you've gotten where you've gotten.
Sure. And I will, let me add one more thing about the influencer and, having the camera person, whatever. I know how it's frustrating because I love my wife, love my son, love my daughter, but they're not us, right? And so some days, like when they're travel with me, or my son will be at an event, which he doesn't really care about, or my daughter, like, okay, Dad, I'll go to the networking event. I'm mimicking her. And I'll say, can you take my phone? And like, oh, great, I have a second person. Not because I'm anything, but this is the world I'm in. I am the asset, as it were. And so I'm like, Charity, you didn't see me talking to Oprah just now? Did you get the picture? Charity, you didn't see Barack Obama give me a high five? Charity, you didn't see Ivanka Trump, whoever you want? She's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's why you're here. You didn't see me jumping up in my orange socks showing through my suit pants? Dad, no, I was eating chips. So anyways.
He did such a phenomenal job. And what I think is so powerful about it is, in addition to being the armor bearer, and you guys have to look up fully what this means. I know it from a pastoral perspective of somebody coming in and like helping steward so that the person can do, the pastors specifically, can do what they're called and made to do without having to worry about all of the other unraveling pieces, because often that's what's happening. But I've also borne witness to armor bearers who have done things as small and granular, but also seem pretty bougie from the outside looking in, like opening the water bottle and handing it to the person while they're mid-conversation so that they didn't have to distract themselves to do something that sounds like not a big deal, right? But Ramon he was so fine-tuned to every little detail, but he were also such an advocate for me that weekend, to the point where you're like, you need to get in on this picture. You need to get in on this conversation. And even though I'm like all for the limelight, there was just moments where I felt like I'm not invited into that space. And he's like, hold on, you're right there with them. Go up there and let me advocate for you, which made me feel so honored and comfortable. And so it was just such a special experience.
Can I mention one more thing, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. I saw TD Jakes. It was cool. This is how much I love this role.
Oh, love TD Jakes.
He was on stage, Tamra. This was so smooth and beautiful. Now, you can tell, now people around me didn't know why I'm geeking out on this, but I paused it and rewound what happened. His shoe was untied. Live. He's a big dog. Man of God. Tamra, see, can we do a whole show on the shoe tie?
Yes, we can. I love it. I'm freaking out over here too.
So he was stage left. So his team was on stage left, his armor bearer. There's several people, some are security, but there's the armor bearer, which is not security, two different roles. So TD Jake just walked over. He's preaching. he put his leg up on like a little, not made for that, but like a speaker or something, was preaching and preaching. The armor bearer, clearly he had to be in the public light, but how he moved, you feel what I mean? It wasn't like just chomping along. It was a smooth move. Let me put my hands up. Tied the shoe. TJ, and that is why point number 3. Hallelujah.